Welcome to Unveiled Radiance, podcast to help you strip away fear of aging. Hello, I'm Dr. Natalia, licensed naturopathic physician, aesthetic expert injector, and owner of Bloom Skincare. In each episode, we will discuss everything about skincare, strip away confusion about aesthetic medicine, and help you deeply understand what happens in your body as you start aging. We will invite expert opinion and, of course, science-backed information to help you deeply understand you. This podcast is part of educational platform called Unveiled You, which I designed for women just like you to help you understand everything, not just about your skin, which is your largest body's organ, but everything that's happened to your body from puberty all the way through past menopause, and enjoy and embrace every stage of that beautiful life. Let's get started. I am Natalia Borokovsky, and welcome to Unveiled Radiance. Hello, everyone. So in this exciting episode of Unveiled Radiance, I labeled this Breaking the Beauty Spell. I'm here with a wonderful, mysterious, and absolutely excellent Chelsea. I met her in Nashville, and she's a fascinating person to talk to because she is a hypnotist, not someone you meet every day. And she's young, she's extremely intelligent. I'm so excited for us to unpack this very interesting subject of our relationship with our own self-image. But before we dive into the whole nitty-gritty fun of this conversation, I want to take a moment and for Chelsea to introduce herself and to tell the audience, what do? How do you help women, and how they can find you, of course.
Hey, Natalia, it is such a pleasure to be on this episode. We just hit it right off when we met, and I'm so honored to be a part of your mission today. So who I am and what I do, I am an intuitive healer, and hypnosis is one of the tools that I use to help women get underneath all of the logical and conscious chatter that we go through every day. Especially as women, we're really good at talking ourselves into things and out of things. When I first started therapy, I was always able to kind of talk my way in circles around the real issue, but it wasn't until I met my teacher and did a hypnotherapy session and started working with energy work and started working with all of the unconscious stuff that was going on, that I was able to get to the truth of my own anxiety. So I immediately thought, yes, I have to learn all of this. And I've just been adding tools and tools and tools to my belt. But really what fascinates me is how we are all hypnotized by the culture. And we can dive a little bit more into that. But really, I like to think of myself, especially when I use hypnosis as a tool, it's really de-hypnotizing people. It's getting all that conditioning out of the way. It's getting all of those things that we've talked ourselves into, and helping. My duty to my clients is to help them become more of who they are. So that's the way that I work.
I know, and that's why you and I are connected so deeply, because it's exactly the same message I try to get across of every woman I meet. And it feels like it's such a beat down concept, and it's became such a cliche. So often people filter it out, they hear it as a noise. But once you truly find yourself and you accept yourself for what you are, this is such a fantastic superpower. And before we even got in this whole episode, I remember when I told you, and you gave me this idea of naming this episode essentially Breaking a Beauty Spell, because that's exactly what you said. What is a beauty standard if it's not a form of hypnosis? So let's just chat about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, if you look at different cultures around the world, everybody has a different beauty standard. There are some cultural standards where it's actually a beautiful thing to have a larger body type. There's certain cultures where it's more fashionable to be more pale, more tan, blonde, not blonde. There's so many different varying beauty standards, which means there's no objective truth to it. I think that especially with so when we watch media, when we consume any kind of media, we're partially checked out. we're zoned in on the screen, even right now. And when we're partially zoned in on the screen, we're open to suggestion. And what are we doing? We're doom scrolling. We're looking at all of these AI filtered images, especially right now. Even back in the days of TV and magazines, we were partially checked out when we were looking at all of these beauty standards. And hypnosis, in its most functional form, is when the brain takes in a piece of information and accepts it as a truth. So by that standard, we've all kind of been hypnotized to say, look both ways before we cross the street. We don't even think about it. But nobody was sitting there going, look into my eyes, you will look both ways before you cross the street. It's been the same thing with the beauty industry. We've all just taken in these little tiny concepts and accepted them as true when there really is no truth to them.
Been brainwashed to us from the very early age. So when the girl, I would talk specifically about women because that's really where the beauty standards become such a sensitive problem, right? So when the little girl first born, she really doesn't care what she looks like. She's a little free butterfly running around. I remember my daughter, she used to wear same pair of sweatpants literally for 9 months without a break. It looked worse than our kitchen rag because it was full of holes, but she loved it so much she refused to wear anything else. And she didn't care what she looks like. Now my daughter is 16 years old. So yes, we're talking about putting on lashes, not leaving her house without makeup. And I try to change that in her. But unfortunately, there's just so much noise. There's just so much societal pressure, so much social media pressure. And we can even go deeper into this concept and to really think that the beauty industry, it's really preying on female fear of feeling inadequate, of feeling like we always need to be fixed. So, what would you say to our common listener? How would they recognize the signs in themselves that they are under the beauty spell?
Ooh, that's a good one. We'll put it this way. I always know when I'm out of alignment with something when I'm making any kind of decision, when there's an emotional charge to it, when there's a edginess or an urgency. This is from anything from buying a new lipstick to, making a huge coaching decision or a huge business decision. If I'm feeling emotional about it, it's probably not the best decision for me. It's probably not the most true to me. When we start getting away from who we are, we start getting more easily pulled by every ad. We start spending money very impulsively. We start looking in the mirror and we start getting immediately agitated. I actually had a moment recently. I went on a retreat and I had been in a funk for a little while and I just wasn't aware of it. And on the last day of the retreat, I looked in the mirror and I went, oh my God, I'm me. It sounds so ridiculous, but I looked in the mirror and I was like, I'm me again. There was a light in my eyes that I hadn't seen in a while. I felt like when I looked in the mirror, I felt like Chelsea, and I can't describe it any other way. If you start looking in the mirror and you start seeing somebody that you don't recognize, that's a big sign to start coming back to yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have to always look like the way you were born. I've got bright pink hair. I do my lashes. I have crafted my look to match the way that I feel on the inside. So it doesn't always have to look like how you were born, but your reflection should always let you know that, yes, this is me.
This is so powerful. Honestly, I have to say I'm a little envious because you are so young and you were able to arrive there. And it's such a superpower. For me, I am 48 years old and it's literally that all connection to my true self. It took me probably in my mid 40s to really truly realize that. And I remember I was talking to my friends because I have a lot of friends who are coaches, mental health coaches, the people who go to yoga retreats, a lot of people who work on their mental health. And I used to tell them, I'm just so driven of being authentic me. And they would used to ask me this question, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't even know. but it's just, I don't feel like myself. I feel like I'm constantly playing a role. I'm playing a role of mother, I'm playing a role of wife, I'm playing a role of a doctor, and all of that is part of my personality. But somehow with those roles, we're trying to be someone I'm not, trying to put some kind of persona forward. I really forgot who I was. So that internal work of going back to who you are, it's a bumpy road, don't you agree? And I think a lot of us get a little timid to really go on that path. How would you encourage starting to explore but not really sure what to do, where they start?
Yeah, and your story is so beautiful, and blessed to be naturally young looking all of my life. So I'm 35, not terribly young, but also, yeah, I'm still in the beginning of my journey. And I'll tell you this, to your point of the rocky road, it's not a constant thing. There are days where, like I said, I've come out of about a 3 month slump of just slowly sinking out of myself, and then I had to snap back into it. So one is giving yourself grace. It doesn't mean just because you're not feeling like yourself today or for the past 3 to 6 or the past 40 years, it doesn't mean that you're not going to find yourself. It doesn't mean that you've lost yourself. It's just one of those things. We're constantly going in and out. And sometimes when we go out of ourselves, we actually come back in a whole new way. So it's actually okay to sometimes have those moments where you're kind of in this fluffy goo and you don't really know who you are. Sometimes that's actually transition. For the people who are starting that journey, who are really starting to look in the mirror and go, I'm doing everything. I'm taping, I'm tweezing, I'm makeuping, I'm painting, I'm polishing, and nothing feels good. I don't feel good about myself. I will say it's actually a very interesting road. The road coming back home to yourself. There's a lot of BS in my industry, in the healing industry, that will tell you all you need to do is just, do a weekend of inner child work where you dance and spin and play with unicorns. That's not going to bring you back home to yourself. There's a little bit of a dark night of the soul that happens in that midpoint between the time when you realize you've gotten away from yourself and the point, and the point where you go, well, then who am I? Who am I? What actually feels good to me? And I'm going to encourage every single woman from the age of 6 to the age of 600. I encourage you to go through that dark night of the soul. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like maybe some days you don't want to get out of bed. Some days you're just like, well, who the heck am I? I don't like my work. I don't like my job. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like the way I've been dressing. I don't like anything. I'm just going to stay home. And that's okay to go through. A lot of the people that I work with, I've actually had a shift in my own clientele recently because I realized that some of the people I was working with, they didn't actually want to really look in and come home to themselves. They wanted their broken toys fixed. They wanted their partner back. They wanted their job back. They wanted to have more comfort, but they didn't actually want to go through that rocky part of getting solid in who you are. And it's because of that rocky road that you were talking about that you can really be solid and stand strong unapologetically in who you are. And that is something that no amount of makeup, no amount of hair products, no amount of clothing or styling or any other thing that you could do, that's what's going to shine through and make all of those things that you do to then make the outside match the inside really click.
Yes, yeah, I cannot agree with you more. When we truly find our inner strength, our inner light, that's really what beauty to me looks like. And I try to explain my patients when they're sitting in a static chair next to me. And again, I'm not trying to advise people to just completely stop taking care of their skin and just go all natural. That's really not the point here. So you can certainly wear your makeup and red lipstick and do Botox, but you just do it from the point when it enriches you, not hides you. And that's exactly your point, Chelsea, because so many of us, we're trying to fix our environment around us. We try to feel like there's always some kind of fix to something. Either you're trying to fix things on your face, or trying to fix things on your body, or in your relationships. You're trying to fix your partner, but you don't really look at what's going on with you. What are you bringing to the story? And it really, with any decision in your life, just getting to that deep understanding yourself, it should be the number one step to absolutely everything in life. And every time when I talk to women about how they age, how they envision their beauty in themselves, and like you said, I'm not going to look like I was in my childhood. I have pink hair, I have a different image. Absolutely, we cannot look like ourselves. Like for example, in me, I'm going to be entering menopause soon. I don't want to look like I was in my 20s. I will never look like that. And yet, so many women also cling to that old image. To me, I think a woman, it's like it's water, it's adaptable. Sometimes it's okay to be a tidal wave, and sometimes it's okay to be a still lake. But either way, you're transitioning to your life season, and you should really love yourself enough to allow yourself to transition to this new season. Either it's your outside look, or your body, your mind, and soul transitioning through it. So it does absolutely, like you said, take so much courage to go through this. And it's so wonderful when we have women who are courageous enough to seek out help from you, who can actually guide them and help them to get to that level of self-discovery. So I guess my next question would be is, can you share with us kind of like a know-how? So imagine if I am a lost soul woman and I'm coming to you and I'm like, Chelsea, I want to find me. Where would you begin? What would be kind of like a first step?
The first fear or the first belief that I always look for is an underlying belief of I'm not enough or I'm too much. And those two can really play back and forth. Sometimes I'm not enough will drive people to, like you said, fix and to modulate and see, okay, you know what, I just need to be a little bit more this. I just need to be a little more this. And all of a sudden, you're a person that you don't recognize. So I always look for I'm not enough. Sometimes it's I'm too much. And sometimes people have kept themselves demure. Sometimes people have minimized themselves. I have known many women who have been through narcissistic relationships who were told that they shouldn't wear makeup, who were told that they shouldn't dress the way they want to, or that they should do their hair differently because secretly that person that they were with was trying to minimize them. And they just kind of took it on and said, okay, well, I guess I don't know how to dress. I guess I'm just not that. No, that belief of I'm too much has been subtly shifting how they represent themselves. And honestly, some women need to go bigger. Some women are actually draining their energy by restricting themselves. So that's always the first thing I look for. The next thing is, especially with, and this is actually where I kind of want to ask you, and I want to kick it back to you. There seems to be a cultural fear of aging here in the West. I don't know what it's like in certain other
Yes.
cultures. Like I said, beauty can be a cultural thing as well. But here out in the States, we do not like the thought of wrinkles. We do not like the thought of gray hair. Even when we think it's fashionable, we're always considering those women who do this as courageous. You're so courageous to have wrinkles and gray hair. Like, what? It's called aging with grace.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we subtly reinforce that story. So I'm curious how, because honestly, here's the thing. I am an advocate for making the outside match the inside. I do love me some Botox. I love me some lashes. I love me some color. I have tattoos. I am all for modifications as well as decoration. How do you discern when somebody is coming to you out of that powerful place of, yes, I just want to look a little bit more like this because it makes me feel like me, versus I'm coming to you in fear and I need you to fix me?
That's not an easy question to answer, truly. It does require a lot of deep work. And that's essentially why I developed the Unveil You platform, because I only have limited time with every woman that sits in my chair. And sometimes just spending a few minutes with her is enough for me to unlock that fear and to see that there she is certainly suffering with that, aging syndrome, that aging fear. And we can kind of address that. We can start the conversation. I can at least unlock that thought in her head that, wait, maybe I should reflect on that. Maybe I should stop. And subtle messages, what I see is when the woman picks up a mirror, because every consultation I start in my clinic with what I call mirror exercise. I give them a mirror and I said, tell me, what brings you here? What bothers you? And then if it starts with a really aggressive criticism, something like, oh my gosh, you can clearly see I'm so ugly. My face is full of wrinkles. My skin is hideous. My pores are gigantic. I have all those brown spots everywhere. And I'm looking at her and I see this absolutely stunning, bright blue eyes and an absolutely charismatic, unforgettable smile. And that's what I see. And I try to explain it to her that subtle messages, when the woman becomes so aggressively critical towards herself, that's my first red flag. That's when I'm trying to, okay, take a deep breath, look at your reflection again and see what I see. I see bright blue eyes. I see this unforgettable smile. Let's start with that. And if there's a one feature you will pick that really bothers you, you just cannot cover it with a makeup, and that's all you see on photographs. That may be one wrinkle between my eyebrows. I see it in every photo. It just absolutely drives me nuts. Yes, we can address that, but not to the point when there's no longer any wrinkles and a woman still sees imperfections. She's just seeking imperfections. It's almost like she married to her imperfections and they no longer even present, but she still wants to see them. So that's really the red flag for me, that thinking she really needs more. The aesthetic treatments can no longer help her because we're fixing something that doesn't exist. And overall, even the word of fixing, it's something I hate, absolutely hate, because I feel like women are not broken dolls. We do not need to be fixed. There's a couple little tweak mispolishments maybe, but ultimately, self-care, it's a form of self-respect. It's a form of honoring your body. It's mainly taking care of your skin. It's your largest organ. It's not looking flawless and have a frozen face. That's completely wrong approach to beauty.
And you brought up something really powerful there, is that, when people don't see their own beauty, one layer of the beauty spell is that we've been taught not to see our own beauty. We've been taught that it's not humble, it's not polite, it's conceited if we celebrate our beauty. So many people have actually, again, it plays right into hypnosis. It is a spell. Well, hypnosis and spells are two different things, but honestly, they work the same. We have created this hypnosis and culture that has literally blinded women to their own beauty. And that's part of the undoing that needs to happen. Is no, 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 you need to, like, it is okay. It is not only okay, it is necessary, it is joyful to celebrate the things that we do like about ourselves.
Yeah, I cannot agree more because ultimately recognizing your own beauty, it's not vanity. It's not meaning that you're going to tell another woman, I'm prettier than you. No, you're just recognizing yourself for what you are. And I absolutely strongly believe from the bottom of my heart, every woman is beautiful. And I remember when you and I had this conversation on the phone, I told you about really long time ago, they did this test, a psychology test on young children. And they showed them photos of the most beautiful women of their era. So they were photo models, actresses, very famous women, undeniably beautiful by societal standards. And there was a picture of their mother, and every single child picked the mother because she
Yeah.
is, in the eye of a child, the most beautiful woman. And that's kind of, to me, proves the point that every woman is beautiful. Even with her little quirks and imperfections, she's still beautiful. And I believe that number one message what I try to deliver every woman, that skincare, that's really should be with you for the rest of your life. And it's not because you're vain. It doesn't mean that you're trying to prove to the world you're better than other women next to you, but because you just want to honor your body, the body's largest organ. And then ultimately when you feel good in your skin, not pun intended, like physically and emotionally, you feel good in your skin. I really feel the woman just opens up to the world. And when she does, she can share her energy, because of female energy, it's such a powerful energy of love and care and warmth. And we just need so much more of it in the world. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, gosh, I could end this conversation right there, and that would be the most powerful thing that you could say. I really,
Mic drop.
I cannot, I physically cannot improve upon that statement. I'm not even going to try. Everything that you said is just absolutely true. You know what? Maybe that's why I've got nothing to add, because you just spoke the truth.
Well, what I think you should add, let's kind of bring it back to the beginning. We talk about a beauty spell, right? How society put this hypnosis on women. So let's kind of give them something, some kind of little tool to take at the end of this conversation, something they can do, maybe a little ritual, something every day to start breaking the beauty spell. So what would you say?
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas there. One, the truth about hypnosis is that you can be hypnotized without your knowledge. Most of us have been in many, many areas of our lives. But you cannot be hypnotized without your consent. If you do not agree to take on society's view of beauty, now you can agree with it if it authentically means something to you. Again, skincare is one of those things that is not only marketed to us, but is also really highly beneficial. When it comes from a place of being comfortable with taking care of your skin, you can agree with it, but always question. Always question first whenever anyone tells you what is beautiful, especially if anybody wants to comment on your appearance. Question that. That's all you have to do is that true? Is that true? Are they coming
Right.
from a place of wanting my money? Are they coming from a place of wanting my esteem? Are they coming from a place of wanting my light? There's a billion different things, but always question it first. Just get that filter up before you just take it in and accept it. The exercise that really changed my life, and I did learn this from my hypnosis mentor, set yourself aside some time for this, because it's going to take some time. Sit in front of a mirror. And if you so choose to do this in a bikini or in the nude, I encourage this, but if you want to just sit there as you are, but do look yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye. Set aside a good couple hours for this. I mean it. And look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. I love you. And repeat it. And what's going to happen is, for the first maybe 15 minutes, you're going to go, okay, this is goofy. Like, seriously, I'm just saying I love you to a mirror. This doesn't mean anything. Then all of a sudden, those little gremlins are going to start coming up. Those little gremlins of, oh yeah, even though you have this wrinkle here, yes, I love you. Really, even though your nose has been broken and it's crooked, yes, I love you. Some of it's actually going to get really hard to say, yes, I love you to. Even though you made that mistake that one time back when you were in high school and you're so humiliated about it, yes, I love you. And eventually you're going to come through on the other side where that little self-critical voice is going to have nothing left to throw at you that you won't say, yes, I love you to. And it was so powerful. All it took was once to create a permanent shift in how I saw myself. And every so often, when I feel myself starting to go off the rails a little bit, when that little self-critical voice starts trying to come back at me, I will set aside time. I will sit in front of a mirror and I will do that. And and this is what I mean about the hard, not so glamorous work. This isn't a quick exercise. It's not a quick tip.
Yes.
It is a downright, you might even, be bawling by the end of it. But that's what it takes to walk through that rocky path and come out solid on the other side in knowing, yes, that gremlin can say whatever it wants, and I'm going to say I love you right back to it.
Wow. That is a fantastic advice, and I absolutely love the idea. I would admit I'm actually going to try it. I cannot imagine the shift you can experience when you really sincerely engage with that exercise. When you just, at least for once, be completely honest with yourself. and you can create really, truly miracles. So I am so honored you joined me today. I think we had a fantastic conversation. I'm sure our listeners truly enjoyed that. And we will put all the Chelsea's contact information below so you can contact her, learn more about hypnosis. Chelsea, do you accept people for like online conversation, like a telemedicine, we call it, appointments?
Yep. So I offer a complimentary consultation to all of my clients. I want to make sure that we're both a good fit for each other. I work over Zoom as well as in my home. So if you're local to the Nashville area, yep, we can absolutely do in-person sessions, or Zoom works just as effectively. Hypnosis is happening within your own mind. I'm just here to hold the flashlight, as well as the energy work that I do. It works perfectly over Zoom. And to your guests, I would like to offer a special discount when they call in and ask me for a consultation. So just go ahead and go to my website, book a consultation, and let them know that you found me through Natalia and through this particular episode. And I will be happy to offer you a introductory rate.
That's fantastic. We'll definitely put all those details below so you guys can follow Chelsea on social media and stay connected. We would love for you to go to unveilyou.life website and check out our Beyond Mirror course, because that's where we really uncover that relationship with your self-image. We talk about mirror anxiety and so much more. And we have some other meditation and tools for you to help to shift your perspective and help you to soften the gaze and become a little self-critical. We don't want to create something out of you that you are not. We actually want to show you your way to yourself. And if you're courageous enough to go on a journey, we'll be so honored to guide you to it. So thank you for joining us. And thank you, Chelsea. It was such a pleasure.
Natalia, it was an honor. I'm so overjoyed that we met, and I'm so overjoyed to be able to speak to your audience today. Thank you. This is a wonderful, wonderful space that you've created.
Thank you for joining me on Unveiled Radiance. If this episode resonates with you, please share with someone you love, with another woman who might need to hear this information. And for full experience, head to unveilyu.life, where we share everything about skin, hormones, and even self-confidence. Until the next time, thank you for joining me, and please take care of yourself from inside